What's going on, guys? It's Zach here, bringing you guys a Sunday morning live stream. Super excited for week 2. We've got just got the latest injury reports out, so I can sort of start us off here by just going team by team and sort of saying what matters, and then I'm happy to answer questions that any of you guys might have in the chat along the way. Yeah, super excited for week 2. It should be a big week, and I'll just get into it. So starting us off with the early window, we've got the Packers. They've listed Christian Watson and Aaron Jones as out. That does make Romeo Doubs a nice flex play for me if you were sort of on the fence about playing Romeo Doubs. I think Romeo Doubs is in line to have a decent week this week. A.J. Dillon would be like a low-end running back 2 for me. He probably needs a touchdown to score, but he's a guy that you could certainly put in your lineups if you need to. I will note that on top of those 2 being out for the Packers, David Bakhtiari, their great tackle, is out as well. So run blocking could be a bit of an issue. The Panthers weren't able to really run very well against the Falcons last week, so not really sure exactly what you want to expect out of the Packers offense this week, but it'll be a good test for Jordan Love for sure. So we'll see what happens there. For the Falcons, nobody really notable is out in this one, except I will note that Cordarrelle Patterson is going to be inactive again this week. That means that you're probably safe playing Tyler Algier. I'd have been a little bit worried if Cordarrelle Patterson was active. It would take a couple snaps away from Algier and would really probably bumped him to like that lower tier of a flex play instead of somebody that I'm at least comfortable starting. For the Raiders, the only notable out in this one's going to be Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers isn't someone that I would have been looking to play, or someone that I would have been looking to play, but with him out, I think a lot of people might be sort of looking towards pivoting towards Hunter Renfrow. I would prefer to not do that. We just haven't really seen much of Hunter Renfrow in a while. It's not somebody that I want to trust in my lineup this early in the season. For the Bills in that same game, nobody really notable out in this one. Nothing to worry about there. Next up, we've got the Ravens. For the Ravens, big news here is that Mark Andrews will be active in this one. Going to be super exciting to watch Mark Andrews finally become active in these games. Hopefully he can perform well. I do hope that Bengals game is going to be a shootout, but nobody really out for the Ravens, obviously. Nobody to be concerned about there. On the opposite side of the ball, they've got the Bengals. Nobody's really inactive in this one either. You're playing everyone there. For the Seahawks are missing both of their starting offensive tackles, so I would expect there to be a bit of a concern in terms of what you want to expect out of the running game for that team. I think we could also see a lot of pass rush presented by Aiden Hutchinson, and that could be a scenario where we see the Seahawks sort of just get blown out in this one. I think that game either turns into a shootout or we see the Seahawks be competitive or get blown out and not really be able to score. So a little bit scary, but I still think I'm comfortable playing Ken Walker, obviously, and then the top 2 Seahawk wide receivers, DK and Lockett. Not really confident at all in JSN, just I want to see it happen. Before we get into the Lions, a couple questions in the chat I'll just get answered. First question is going to be, is there anyone I'd strongly prefer between Mike Williams and Puka Nacua? I would strongly lean Mike Williams in this one. I really think Mike Williams is going to have a really great week this week against the Titans pass defense. They're a bit of a pass funnel. They've got a really good run defense, and the Chargers are going to have to air it out. Next question, who should I bench between Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, and Drake London? I would definitely bench Drake London in this one, especially if you're looking to avoid a complete dud. I think that Christian Kirk and Zay Jones are in line to, that game should be a shootout with the Chiefs. So Drake London's someone that I just really don't trust at all. I definitely want to see it at least. And honestly, I'm not confident at all in Drake London going forward. So I'd let him sit down. Next question, Jerry Jeudy or Gabe Davis? A little concerned with Gabe Davis and Jerry Jeudy. I would probably play Gabe Davis in this one. I know we've heard reports that Jerry Jeudy is not going to be on a snap count, but coming off of a hamstring injury, just a little bit concerning for me. I think I'd let Jerry Jeudy sit on my bench one more week and just see what happens. I think that Gabe Davis is going to have a really great week against the Raiders as well. So keep the questions coming if you guys have more, but I'll keep reading through the injury report and giving updates there. For the Lions, nobody's sitting in this one. Nothing to be worried about there. For the Colts, nothing really to be worried about either. I do expect that Zach Moss will be taking all of the running back snaps, the majority of them. He's a guy that you could play in your flex if you need to. Otherwise, nothing really to be noting on their injury front. For the Texans, CJ Stroud, he gave us a little bit of a scare. He was thinking he could be an inactive, but he should be in this game. I'm not really super excited about anyone. Noah Brown got placed on IR, so if you want to play Nico Collins, he should have a little bit of a higher target share, but I don't know if the Texans are going to throw the ball quite as much as they did last week. I think that game will be more competitive, so a bit of a gross game between the Colts and Texans this week. Another question in the comments, half PPR, should I play Sky Moore or Justice Hill? That's a tough spot to be in week 2 here. I think I lean Justice Hill, just hoping he falls in the end zone. I'm really worried about Sky Moore. I think if I wanted to be playing any Chiefs wide receiver, I do think it would still be Kadarius Toney at this point. I'd be concerned that Sky Moore gets phased out, but I would go Justice Hill here, but that's definitely not a great spot to be at. I hope you're in a deep league. Next up, we've got the Chiefs. Nobody too notable out in this one. The big news for the Chiefs, obviously, is that Travis Kelce's returning to action. If you have Travis Kelce, you're obviously firing him up. I really think Kelce's in line to have a great week this week. Should be a really exciting thing just to see him back on the field. For the Jaguars, nobody's out for them either. I think everybody's pretty much a good start for the Jaguars. I'd be starting Ingram, all three of the receivers, and Etienne. Bigsby is not someone that I'd be super excited about, but if you needed to, you could hope he falls in the end zone. Next up, we've got the Bears. Big note for the Bears is that Deonta Foreman's actually going to be a healthy and active. I think this means really good things for Roschon Johnson. If he happens to be on your waiver wire right now, you should absolutely go looking to add him. I really do think Roschon Johnson's going to at least establish himself as the pass catching back in this offense. And he looked really good last week. I talked about him in the waiver wire video. He's someone that I do like quite a bit and somebody that I really would want on my rosters. So I think it's going to be tough to grab him after this week. So go grab Roschon Johnson if you can, if he's still available. For the Buccaneers, nothing too notable. Keyshawn Vaughn's inactive again. Should be pretty much all of Rachaad White again, and hopefully he gets right this week against the bad Bears defense. But if Rachaad White looks bad again, I'd be really concerned about what he's going to do the rest of the season. Next up, we've got the Chargers. Obviously, the big inactive for the Chargers is going to be Austin Eckler. This makes Joshua Kelly like a low-end running back, too, for me. Like I said earlier, the Titans have a really good run defense. It's really scary for me just to be confident playing Joshua Kelly because you really are going to need him to fall in the end zone to really pay off at where you're playing him. I think that he's not very much of a pass catcher. He's not somebody that I really would expect him to give that full allotment of work to. He'll probably end up with like 15 touches, which is certainly startable. He's a guy that you can play. And if you picked him up, you probably picked him up with the intention of playing him. So I have no problem playing him in this one, but I just wouldn't expect super high-end production out of him. For the Titans, we saw that DeAndre Hopkins is indeed going to be active in this one. So that sort of muddies the water a little bit. Had he been out, I would have been really confident. Maybe not really confident, but pretty comfortable playing Treylon Burks in my flex. Would have made me more confident in Chig Okonkwo as well. With DeAndre Hopkins, I think it's a little bit muddy. I probably want to sit Treylon Burks for sure. I think Chig Okonkwo is still like a streaming option at tight end. And then DeAndre Hopkins would be someone that you can play, but obviously there's always a concern that he could be someone that sits out at some point in the game, is not a snap share. So something to be concerned about there for sure. So that's it for the early window. Other than that, a couple news and notes things. For those of you who aren't aware, Amari Cooper aggravated his groin, I believe, yesterday in practice. He's now viewed as somebody who's not going to be playing tomorrow. That would be something that you guys definitely need to make note of. If you were planning on using Amari Cooper, either hope that you have Elijah Moore or something as a pivot, and if you don't, then I would be looking somewhere else other than Amari Cooper in this one. A couple more questions. Joel Coughlin. Puka is playing in this one. I'm not super excited about him. The Niners defense is really great, but somebody that you can play for sure. He's like a low-end wide receiver 3 for me. Nico Collins or Gabe Davis in half PPR. I lean Gabe Davis here. I think the Texans are going to be a little bit more run-heavy today. I don't think that without Laremy Tunsil's out as well for the Texans in this one, so it could be a little bit tough for them to pass protect. I don't think they'll be able to get the ball downfield quite as much. Yeah, Nico did look good last week. I totally agree. I think they had a lot more passing volume last week than what they'll have going forward, and I really do think Gabe Davis could get loose for a big touchdown this week. So yeah, that's about it in terms of news and notes. I'll sort of look around, see if there's anything else that I can find that's coming in right now. But that's about all I got. Any questions, you can feel free to ask me in the comments as well. I can stick around for a couple more minutes here and see if things die out. Hold up, my headset here's dying. I got to plug it in real quick. Cool. Yeah, so it looks like that's pretty much all we got for news. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. Really wish you guys the best of luck this week, and hopefully you guys can go get some wins today. So I think it should be a really fun week. Hopefully we get some more offense this week than we got last week. There were a lot of low-scoring games, but really appreciate you guys stopping by, and I think I'll close it out at the 10-minute mark unless I get another couple questions coming in. So sit around for another minute or here, and then other than that, I'll head out and get ready to watch some football all day. So super excited. Cool. Cool. I think we'll just call it here. So thank you again, everyone, for stopping by. Let's get some wins this week. Really excited to watch some football, and I want to thank you guys again for stopping by. So good luck, and I'll see you guys for the next video. That'll come out on Tuesday, the waiver wire video. So catch you guys later.